another edition of the Weekend Review with E.J. Borkart.
The Weekend Review is going to be a little different than it normally is because next week we are starting a new series, The Godard Brothers. So there really isn't anything that happened previously in the story so far. So instead, I'll be going over a little bit of background to help you guys figure out where the Godard brothers fit into my world, a little bit about what to expect from this story. We're still going to review what happened last week in Beast Blades, and I will discuss something that started on my blog yesterday that I hope you all checked out, and if not, you'll go check out after this. So, let's go ahead and get started with Beast Blades. This past week in Beast Blades, we had Apollos and Aldrich started out this chapter tied up and captured in a tent because the rebellion had figured out that Aldrich was actually General Aldrich and not Nathan. Now, Apollos had the opportunity to distance himself from Aldrich, and say, I had no idea who he was. He lied to me the entire time I knew him, and potentially save himself from the rebellion's wrath. But instead, he goes ahead and he admits that, yes, I do know who Aldrich is. I knew who he was, and I think that he really wants to change. He wants to try and make a difference in the rebellion, and I think you should give him the opportunity to do that. They then bring Tara in. She basically says the same thing. She trusts Aldrich. She thinks the rebellion should. She thinks that he is a valuable tool. And then Aldrich defends himself. And the rebellion leaders go and make the decision of what to do with Aldrich. They decide in the end that they will keep and use Aldrich because it's the plans that he was making while he was with the Thomas in the command tent were good, sound decisions, things that would actually seem to work. And so they decided that someone's going to be watching them, guarding them at all times, all three of them, Tara, Apollos, and Aldrich, until they're certain that they are trustworthy again. Obviously, Tara lied to them, so she has to regain their trust as well. And they go on with their plans, which involve more scouts being sent out in all directions to watch for movement, a moving camp that is completely mobile and ready to be taken down and moved out at any time. They're going to be leaving people behind at their current camp to build up fortifications to make it a safe place to fall back to if the fighting gets that intense. They plan on leaving the women and children there, with the exception of Tara, because she really, really wants to stay with the rebellion and fight. And Apollos training men on how to sword fight. And so from there, they go on with making the camp mobile, setting up who's going to be doing what, and then you get to see General Aldrich's first attack, because the scouts come back with the news that Aldrich was right. Elymas is coming down the road that he thought, and the ambush point that he wanted to set up is perfect. So the camp just breaks loose and moves over to that spot, prepares themselves for Elymas' arrival, and when he comes, his troops are just walking across the bridge that goes over the James River, and once they get into the perfect position, all the rebel members that are hidden on the sides of the road summon the Earth Beast Blades and collapse the road down underneath them. And then the Beast Blades attack. Tiger Acerbi come to attack, but fortunately, thanks to the Water Beast Blades that were waiting under the bridge, the Tigers are distracted, and Elymas suffers substantial losses. And then the rebels retreat and run into the woods, and of course Elymas' forces chase after him. I mean, it just makes sense to do so, doesn't it? I mean, they're running away. We can obviously take them with our superior force. Unfortunately, they have traps. Well, fortunately, I suppose, for the rebellion. We're on their side. Let's go, guys. They have traps waiting for them. Spike pits, tripwires, logs, and most of these traps that Apollos is in charge of triggering as the forces of Geraldo get into position. And they are able to do devastating losses. Elymas loses half of his forces human forces, and all of the tiger passerby that are with him, because the tigers continue to chase after the humans stop, and they are just demolished when the rebellion jumps out and does another sneak attack. Elymas is upset. He sends his fighters out as scouts to figure out where they are and what's going on, and sends someone back to Geraldo to request more troops. And that is pretty much the chapter this week. So if you haven't seen it yet, the full chapter just came out yesterday. Make sure you check that out. It is an exciting chapter, as I'm sure you could tell from the way I was describing it. And I am very sorry, Mr. Announcer Guy. There is no previously in the Godard Brothers. Next month, though, you'll get your chance to say that. But we are going to talk about some background for the Godard Brothers. The story's main characters are Sanji and Alexander Godard, who are the sons of Alfred Godard, who doesn't get a story in my book, or in my world. But Alfred's father, Mark Godard, is the main character from my KOTC series. He's eventually also going to be the main character in the TOTC, and eventually the Elementals, which is when he gets superpowers. So that's where he fits in. And his father is Jordan Godard, which you may recognize from the Super Morpher. So he's the boy's great grandfather. Now, the Godard Brothers is the story of two young boys who are extremely, extremely intelligent and advanced, especially in the fields of science and chemistry and biology most strongly. They believe that they can that the world can be made a better place through science, and that is science's main reason for existing, to make the world a better place. And I will admit this to you. They are going to get superpowers, and their superpowers are going to be only able to be used if they are together. And that is all the hint you're going to get from me from this week. So you're just going to have to keep coming back in the story and seeing how that develops. And for your sneak peek of what's happening next week, ooh, that rhymes. Sneak peek of next week. We're going to get to meet Alex and Sanji more closely. The boys are going to get in trouble at school and then at home. And Alfred is going to get an invitation to give a lecture at Laforne University, the very same school that Jordan and Ryan are attending in the Supermorpher. And that invitation right there is really going to be what sets this story in motion, what gets everything going that will eventually lead to the events that are going to make the Godard Brothers into the Godard Brothers. So, I know it's a little shorter than usual, but I hope that you enjoyed this week's edition of the Weekend Review. Check out my blog, www.ejborkert.wordpress.com, and just always remember that it might be love that makes the world go round, but it's stories that makes the trip worthwhile. Thank you all for checking out this video. If you like what you see, leave a like down below. It makes me know that that you like it, that you want to see more of it. I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot of writing to do. You guys all have a great day. Bye. You are going to have to forgive me. I totally forgot that I promised you guys a little bit of information about what went up on my blog yesterday. So I created a new segment that appears, it's going to appear every Saturday, known as the Time Bubble Interviews. It is going to be a little segment where I'm going to pick a character from the chapter from this past week and pull them out from that exact second and interview them about what's going on. I think this would be a great way for you guys to get to know the characters better, for you to get to know what their motivation is, why they're making the decisions they are, how they're feeling in the situation. I'm hoping that you all enjoy it. If you have a character from this week's chapter of the Godard brothers that you want to see a specific moment where for me to interview them from, leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to interview the people that you want me to. So that is basically what's going on. If you haven't checked it out, went up on Saturday, so it should be on my blog, and that's all I have for you. So this time, goodbye for real.